Audra, and this is Kelly. Today we're going to talk to you about the uses of bubbles in therapy. Kelly, can you tell us what are the uses for bubbles in oral motor therapy?
Well, in oral motor therapy, many times we have some children that have weak muscles of the lips, or the orbicularis, oris, so we need to work on lip rounding. And the lip rounding is going to work on producing sounds later for production of words, like for p and b. So we can work on the lip rounding for blowing the bubbles by placing the wand in front of the child's mouth and actually getting them to demonstrate just like we do and rounding their lips to blow. You can also use the bubbles for frontal airflow for a child who might have a lateral lisp, who is saying the S's out the side of their mouth like you can get them to do the frontal airflow by blowing bubbles through the wand and getting the air to come straight through.
And what are the uses of bubbles in language therapy?
Language therapy is my favorite time to use bubbles. I use it almost every therapy session. I can use sign language to get a child to produce words to get bubbles. They can do the sign for more. They can do the sign for bubbles. I want more bubbles, and we can produce 1 to 5 word utterances to just have a great time playing with the bubbles. Kids love bubbles for most any time. We can also use bubbles to work on basic concepts like blowing a big bubble versus a little bubble, or lots of bubbles versus one bubble. We can talk about how when we bring the bubble wand out, sometimes we hold it up and the bubbles drip. We can talk about our hand getting wet or our hand getting dried off. Bubbles that go up and then bubbles coming down as they fall and the kids are popping them. We can blow bubbles under the table or under a desk. We can blow them on top of the table and then they stick and then the kids get to pop them there, and it makes it a little bit different for them because they have a different setting for that. Requesting, we can use it for that. I want bubbles please, and we can use that for both sign language and for verbal language. We can talk about using it for answering questions. Who is going to blow the bubbles? Is mommy going to blow the bubbles, or is Miss Kelly going to blow the bubbles, or are you going to blow the bubbles? We can do some turn taking as well. It's your turn to blow the bubbles, it's my turn, or it's mommy's turn or daddy's, whoever's in the room with us at the time.
And what are the uses of bubbles during artic therapy?
Well, a lot of times in articulation therapy, we're doing drill and practice, which is sometimes quite boring. So I use the bubbles to reward the kids when they do a certain amount of trials. So if I put up 3 articulation cards and the child says 3 words and works towards their sound, then it will blow the bubbles as a reinforcer. Older kids like to do that too, not as much as the younger kids, but they still enjoy it. We can also work on developmental sounds for using the bubbles, for having them produce the words just to get them bubbles and pop. So you're working on your developmental sounds of M, B, and P to gain those words. So bubbles, pop, and more would be developmentally appropriate for articulation. So it's just a time that you can have fun and break that monotony of articulation therapy. So that wraps up our use of bubbles in therapy today. If you have any other questions or would like to talk to anybody here at Therapy Playground for needs of your own child, feel free to give us a call or visit our website. Thank you.